Big night last night. Cade Cunningham put on his number 2 Detroit jersey for the first time and graced the presence of the Las Vegas floor. Overall, not the peak performance that we're going to see out of him, but I thought he had a well-rounded game. I mean, 12 points, he had 6 rebounds, he had a couple assists, couple steals, couple blocks. Like, just he fills up a stat sheet, and that's kind of what you're looking for. Him and Killian look nice playing together. Really nice. Yeah. Sadiq Bey looks like he's the leader of the young guys, so a lot of good things to take away from last night. And we have Rod Beard on with us right now. Hey, Rod, how you doing?
Gentlemen, how are you? Thanks for having me on.
Doing well, man.
Where are you at, first off and foremost, looking all comfy and stuff?
I had to find some shade. This is Vegas. You know this is 110 degrees in the shade, so you just got to find some trees and find some shade somewhere.
So you were at the game live last night, right?
Yes.
What was your takeaway from it?
I think you've got to have reasonable expectations, and Cade, that's what Cade is. He's just a 6'8". He's going to do a little bit of everything. It's not going to be 30 points every night. It's going to be 15 with 6 rebounds and 5 assists some nights. You're going to see some games where he controls the ball a little bit more. But last night, I think it was just getting his feet wet and getting him used to playing with Killian Hayes. And that chemistry, I really like that those two, especially defensively, when you've got a 6'5" point guard and a 6'8" shooting guard, you can cause some havoc in the passing lanes, and we saw a little bit of that. And even though they played so poorly in that fourth quarter, they almost came back and made something happen because of what they were able to do on that defensive end.
Talking to Rod Beard, obviously Detroit News on the beat out there in Vegas for Summer League. Let's talk, some of the things. Are people overreacting, obviously, to what expectations are? What I liked, Rod, tell me if not, it looked like the Pistons are, as a team, like to be around each other, support each other, and it was more like the whole thing is you be my friend. Here, let's do things that aren't normally what we're going to do. And I think it seemed to me like Dwayne Casey said, go have fun. And then when we get structured, we're going to work on some stuff. So really, is there a lot to take away from that? Or was I seeing that correctly as far as the energy and the team aspect of the Pistons last night?
Right. I think what they're trying to create is culture and chemistry. And they talked about it during the introductory press conference for these rookies that they wanted guys who fit the culture and just good guys, good basketball guys. And we saw that with Luka Garza. We've seen it with Isaiah Livers over the years, that these are guys that are just going to fit together. But again, I think the on-court chemistry with Killian and Cade, just trying to figure it out. They could have just said, you know what, Cade, go score me 30. And he probably could have done it. But they wanted to work some other guys into rotation, get some other guys some looks, and see what Killian looked like with the ball in his hands. That was the big thing from last year, is that he looked better with the ball out of his hands, and he wasn't the primary facilitator. Last night, he looked a lot better. I think he had 4 assists in the first 5 minutes, just going at guys, and you can check that box that he did what he needed to do as the point guard. And again, defensively, just creating a bad situation and making it hard for that Oklahoma City offense to be able to get into their plays. I think you saw that chemistry with Cade and Killian, and that was one of the big takeaways for me, is that's going to work. That box is checked for when the regular season starts. Those two guys are going to fit together there.
Yeah, they seemed to have them tied at the hip for the first half and then kind of broke them up their rotations and worked them in with other guys later on in the game. But when those two were on the court together, I mean, you saw, Cade's first basket came off a Killian assist, which was a nice pass. Killian's passes look very crisp.
Yeah, and it's always been that. Even since last year, and even when he played in Europe, it was the same way, is that he's going to get it to you on time, on the money. It's just whether you can handle it and what you do with it after that. But I think Killian's other assist was to Cade for that second three-pointer, just that walk-up three. So you can just see where he's feeling the offense. He's in the flow of what's going on. I want to see Cade have that same type of fluidity with the ball in his hands and initiate, and you can have Killian off the ball a little bit more. They didn't feature that last night, but I imagine we'll see some more of that. And they put Saban Lee in as that third guard to kind of mix that up and put Killian off the ball. But I like to see Cade do that some.
Yeah, then what grade, I guess, would you get it for those guys? And Garza, too, he hopped in, he hit a three, had a couple early boards until the second half. He looked kind of bad on defense. But I guess what grade would you give those guys and Cade and Garza in their first time on the floor last night?
Cade, I'd give him a solid B. Garza, maybe a B plus, because the knock on him is that he was defensively he wouldn't be there, and to me he looked like he was in the right spots. He's just not very athletic, and he's not going to be a rim protector, shot blocker for you. But just being in the right spots and getting in the muck and going after loose balls, he can do those sorts of things. So I liked what he did there. With Killian, I'll give him an A minus. The shooting wasn't there, but he did everything else right that you want him to do. He created pressure. I think, what do you have, 6 points, 5 assists, or 5.6 assists? That's a normal night for him. And 9 rebounds with it, too. Those guys are able to crash the boards. That's what you want to see. It's not the results. You don't care whether they win Summer League or not. You want to see things that you can carry into the regular season and have some momentum and give them some confidence in what their role is.
Yeah, another guy that stood out to me last night, and a guy that needs to stand out, is Sekou. He started the game. He had a couple nice defensive plays. He was looking good in the post. And the craziest thing is Sekou's been in the league 3 years, and he's still younger than some of the rookies that got drafted this year that he was playing against. I know this has kind of been a struggle and a figuring out process for the Pistons with him. Do you think he took a step forward last night?
Yeah, I think just in his intensity, and you could hear him talking even from where we were up in the stands. You could hear his talk defensively and just getting guys in position. And they've commented that he's one of the better communicators there in terms of making sure people are in the right place. For him playing some power forward, playing some center, you want his 3-point shot to fall because it seems like that gives him more confidence when he starts to hit that shot. But when you're playing center and you're moving around so much, it's just hard to get into a good rhythm and a good groove because your responsibilities change so much. But the thing I circled on his stat sheet was 5 blocks. Where the heck did that come from?
Right.
From him, with rim protection, the Pistons have always had concerns about that. But if he can give you a night like that where he can even get 2 or 3 blocks, that's going to be a plus that he can carry some confidence in with.
Rod Beard, Detroit News, joining us. My question, here we go. Big matchup early. I told these idiots not to get too excited at Summer League.
Excited.
But anyways, I'm going to get excited. You got Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green. Obviously, that's the big talk. What do you go in here other than there's got to be excitement, but what are the expectations, at least, so people don't jump off the ledge, I guess? What are we looking for here?
The schedule makers plotted this all out from day one because you had Evan Mobley and Jalen Green last night in the opener, and then you get Cade Cunningham in the second one. But it's just, is he doing a lot of things? Is he checking a lot of boxes? If he has 25 points and 2 assists, are you happy with that for Cade Cunningham? That's what you expect from Jalen Green. From Cunningham, I'll take 15 or 17 points and 4 or 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and just he looks like he's integrated in the offense and he's doing the stuff you need him to do. The responsibilities are different and the expectations should be different for him too. If the Pistons just wanted a guy who can go out and get buckets and that was it and get a lot of buckets, then they would have picked Jalen Green. I think they like the all-around versatility that Cade brings. And so look at more than just that score and the points box. When you look at the box score, look all the way across and see how many of those boxes that he checks. And again, how does he complement Killian Hayes? That's the biggest thing in this because part of the reason for picking Cade was to make sure that you have a backup and you have a complement that works well with Killian Hayes. And I don't think defensively Jalen Green would be what you're looking for there. I think he's just a lot of offense, and he may give you some rebounds and some other stuff. You need a guy who checks all of those boxes, and I think Cade is going to work into that role in the NBA.
What happened to the 6'8" guard that we drafted? Because last night he didn't really look 6'8". He didn't look too much bigger than Killian out there. You're there in person. Is it like, does he seem like 6'8" in person, or like what's going on? Because he did not look.
Well, they listed him as 6'6" on the roster now,
and
then Doris Burke last night called him 6'7". So really, just take your pick. How tall do you want the guy to be?
Yeah, what's going on, Rod? What's up with that?
So here's the secret piece of this. Killian looks taller too. So Killian might actually be 6'7" and Cade is 6'8". But Killian has always been listed as 6'5". So even if we give him 6'6" and you call Cade 6'7", you're still in the same neighborhood. It really doesn't matter because you can't tell with the peak of his head and the way his hair is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And some people have said shoes on, shoes off. Well, you play basketball in shoes. What are we talking about here?
I want to ask real quick, too, because there's another rookie, Koprivica, that he didn't showcase last night. And then I know Servetus is supposed to be on the G League this year. Do we expect appearances from them at all during the Summer League?
Servetus, not sure about. And Koprivica, I think it was just him getting on board with that trade being finalized so late. He didn't have enough practices to be able to feel like he was right in the center of things. But I think by the end of Summer League, we'll see an appearance by Koprivica.
So one question I got for you is, the Pistons going into this Summer League, they were talking about going undefeated because, they have an experienced team. Like pretty much 4 of our 5 starters are on this roster, depending on how, Dwayne Casey decides who's going to start for the team. After the game, what was their body language like? Because, once the TV broadcast cut off, we can't really see much. You were at the game. Was their energy still good? Was it, a pick-me-up, or were they heads down?
I think that it was a little heads down because of the way that they played. And they missed a ton of shots and had a ton of turnovers. 20 turnovers in 40 minutes is a ton. And so I think they just realized they could have played better. And Tyler Cook didn't have an outstanding game. He just was completely uncharacteristic. But Cade was just sort of, hey, there are some things we can take away from this. And he's all about making his teammates better. And I think he saw ways that he can do that. And this is just a starting point for those guys. They're going to push forward. But even given all that, to win Summer League, you have to go essentially undefeated in the 4 games. And then the point differential and the tiebreakers come into it. It was just a hard task to get to anyway.
Right. Yeah, I really would have loved to see it, though. They were all talking about it, so they had me hyped about it. But yeah, overall, I think they had a decent showing last night. What do you think about tomorrow night's matchup between Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham? What are you looking forward to?
Well, see, I think because of the maturity, it's a game that Jalen Green is going to take maybe a little bit more seriously and try to show that he should have been the number 1 pick. I think Cade is going to feel comfortable in his skin, and just, again, it might be 15 or 17 points, 6 or 7 rebounds, and 6 or 7 assists, and it's just a ho-hum stat line unless you're realizing this is what the expectation is. This is checkbox. In a marquee matchup, he did what he was supposed to do and didn't try to do too much.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun to watch those two go at it. Yeah.
The biggest point is that you said that like there's some connection with Killian on the defense, and defense wins championships. So stay cool out there, brother. See you when you get back.
Yeah, have fun in Vegas, but not too much fun. We need you back here, man. Is he gone, Adam? Oh, he dropped? All right. Well, that was pretty much the end of the interview anyway. So, Rod Beard, thank you for joining The Hook this afternoon. Obviously, he's got great insight into the Pistons and great, being there, watching these live and watching the in-huddle, how the guys are interacting with each other. We saw Cade up and cheering for his teammates, but when you're there in the actual arena, you can key in on guys and make sure that you're watching them exclusively. So, Rod Beard, thank you for the insight today, and looking forward to reading all of your articles. And we got to do some fantasy stuff, guys. We haven't done fantasy football, and it's coming up. Yeah, like the drafts are coming in fast and furious.
Preparation, and you know what? Why don't we, instead of like everybody's always at each other, why don't we do like sort of a team one, like together,
like a hook team?
All right. I'm down with that.
On the last day of the Hook,
we got 3 owners trying to figure out who we're going to draft.
Right. This will be the conglomerate.
I love that. I love that. This is the money team right here. So we're gonna select a good team. Do a mock draft for fantasy football coming up next right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.